Right there, you have 5 episode ideas that you could run with. Episode 1, your story and your why. Episode 2, the biggest mistakes you see clients make. Episode 3. Hey, welcome back to another conversation on the Coaching with Content podcast. We're glad that you are here. My name is Darren, and I'm here as always with my good buddy, Mr. Dustin Peed. How are you, Dustin?
It is always now. We say every time eventually I'm not going to be on this, but here I am again, folks.
My goal is to get you through 10 podcast episodes with me, and then you can release me to fly, spread my wings and fly. Because you're on your podcast is on like episode 115 or something like that. Yeah. So I'm just trying to be cool like you. You're helping me spread my wings a little bit. So I appreciate
it. Fly, little bird. Fly.
Fly, little birdie. So, hey, we're going to get a little meta today. We're going to talk podcasts on a podcast.
It's like Kramer's coffee table book.
Yeah.
About coffee tables.
Yeah. Coffee table book about coffee tables. We're going to have a podcast conversation on a podcast. That feels right today.
It feels so good.
That's what I'm saying. So, yeah, if you're a coach or you're a consultant out there, if you're trying to even make money online in any way, shape, or form, I think, and even Dustin, I know, will echo this because he's a podcaster as well, but I think that podcasting is one of the strongest ways that you can build your authority, build your brand, and build your business. And it's really important I want to make sure that I distinguish between what is a podcast and maybe what is like YouTube education that we talk about, that you see in the sense of these guys putting very good teaching content out on YouTube. A podcast is very similar, right, Dustin? It can be that, but it also is some other elements that I think when we begin to break this down today, you'll see why podcasting is such a powerful tool that you can use and have in your arsenal. Even if you go, man, I don't have a lot of followers, I don't have a lot of listeners, I still think it's a powerful thing that you should start doing today. And just a couple of things that I want to kind of point out before we dive into some frameworks and some objection handling that I know you'll have eventually and all this, but want to talk a couple of key points of why podcasting is so strong and so important. The first one of those things is being that it really deepens relationships, right? It builds authority. And Dustin, we talk a lot about that on this podcast. We talk about when you're a coach or a consultant, coming from that place of authority is huge. It's so important. And so to create a podcast and to begin to have a conversation like this, like what we are doing right now, Dustin and I are having a conversation around a topic. It just allows people in. It's kind of like, when you're sitting around, let's say a coffee table, Dustin, let's bring that back around. When we're sitting around a coffee table having a conversation about whatever it is, you just get to know people, you get to understand them, you get to see their kind of nuances and the way what they laugh at, their jokes. Dustin and I have great senses of humor. So that's, what you're really finding out on this podcast. Right, Dustin?
Yeah.
No. Anyway. But it just allows for your authority to be built in a conversational way. And so that is why I feel that podcasting is one of the strongest things that you can do. And maybe one of the first things you should put into your arsenal as a coach or a consultant. And then the second thing that I think is really strong, and we've been talking a little bit about this, is the podcasting kind of skirts around the algorithm, if you will. And you're like, Darren, what the heck do you mean by that? I have no idea what you're talking about. Well, did you know, I just learned this recently, that if you have an audio podcast and you have somebody that hits subscribe on that, and then I go and I push out a new episode, that it directly pings their phone, their, wherever they're at. If they've said subscribe, it is going to notify them. So it's actually kind of a little bit of, everybody out there is talking about algorithm hacks and trying to figure out what to do and how to skirt around those things. And what do I do to get my Instagram in front of more people and all that kind of stuff? Well, if you have a podcast and you have subscribers and you push an episode out, it goes directly to them. There is no algorithm. There is nobody gatekeeping that as of this recording. So maybe it changes in the future. I don't know. But as of right now, it goes directly to them.
Are you talking
So
about
that
audio podcast only?
yes, that is an audio podcast, right? So when you're talking YouTube and you're talking Instagram, that's a little bit different. There's some different plays there. But I'm saying if we're already, Dustin, you and I will record this episode. It is video. You get to see us, but also we do the audio podcast as well.
Yeah.
And that goes live on Spotify, that goes live on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, all the places, right? But if somebody hits subscribe there, say on Apple Podcasts, I got a notification this morning from a podcast that I follow. Boom, new episode dropped. I got a notification about it. So those are two huge things when you're building authority and you're kind of skirting around the algorithm, if you will. Those are two key points that I think are extremely powerful and extremely beneficial when it comes to podcasting, especially in your coaching and consulting business. So Dustin, as I break those points down, does anything stand out to you? Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I've got a couple notes here, but I think the one that hits closer to what we're talking about right now is I feel like, and you tell me if this is different with you, Darren. I feel like because we're 1898 is a video agency, right? Like
Yeah.
we help businesses win, coaching consultants win with video, right? So
Yep.
we're obviously pushing a video agenda.
Yep.
We talked a lot about on here before about the pyramid scheme of what
Yes, we
when
did.
you do a video, a long form video, what all you get out of that. Well, part of what you get out of that is the audio, right? The audio only version, which is the classic podcast.
Right.
And I have some thoughts on podcast as a phrase later I want to talk about, but
tempting us with a little.
It's a tease to keep listening.
Yeah, I like it.
But what stands out to me the most is any podcast, quote unquote, that I watch on YouTube. Mm-hmm. I can think of probably 10 of them that I like to peruse on YouTube that I subscribe to.
Yeah.
I would probably say 9 of those 10 I found via audio first.
That's
whether someone shared it with me.
Yep.
Or whatever. Like I listen to some podcasts and sometimes they won't make mention every episode that they're on YouTube, and every now and then they'll say like, well, for those of you that are watching, and I'm going like, oh, are they on YouTube? Oh, sick. Yeah. And then I go to YouTube and I subscribe and ring the bell so I'm notified and all the things, right?
Which would be a good time to do that here on this podcast.
Yeah. Dude, it's a 3-in-1 action is what I like to call it. It's the thumbs up, it's the subscribe, it's the bell. It's really the trinity of YouTube that we're after.
Dude, with your triangle analogies and the trinity analogies,
there's something special about 3. I don't know if you're a person of faith watching this or not, but that's a real thing. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I mean, do you find that, Darren? Do you find that a lot of the ones that you've ultimately ended up subscribing to,
yes,
maybe not all of them, but there's a lot of them where you started listening. And so when we're talking about why podcasting, and we're talking about setting you up as the authority, which I have a word there too. That's another tease. I want to get back to that authority builder thing.
All right.
But when that's the goal, right? Mm-hmm. It's like being able to shoot. I don't know. It's like being able to watch the beginning and the end of the movie at the same time. It's we're going very meta today. Like, I don't know.
Man. That is super meta.
You know what I'm saying? Like how you can. We're recording this once. You just use this episode as an example. We're not recording this via video and then going back later and recording it via audio as well. That's ridiculous. No one would do that.
Right.
Anyone with half a brain would go, oh, just extract the audio. And now we have an audio podcast. Yes, but don't just look at it as just another thing, because then you start going, well, now I got to maximize those platforms, and I got to make sure those keywords are good and the description is written out well, and all things that I'm sure we'll talk about on this podcast at some point that we have great hacks for. But you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's like, why would you not give them level 1 and level 2 access at the same time?
Right.
And some people are audio only people. some people are like, hey, and I was that for a long time, and I still just quietly, most podcasts, I'm still audio only. But there are
Oh,
some that I do
how
like to
dare you.
watch. I know it hurts. I know it hurts. But it's catering to two audiences,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
people that I know people that their only podcast consumption is via YouTube. And I
Yeah.
know people that their only podcast consumption is via audio, like a Spotify or an Apple or Amazon or Google or
Right.
whatever, right?
Right.
Like, and I used to be 100% audio only with podcasts.
Yeah.
And probably over the
Same.
last handful of years, really since COVID, when I wasn't
Yeah.
commuting as much, right?
Yeah.
And it just kind of shifted down. And now I'm probably like 60-40, 60% audio, 40% video.
Yeah.
But it's understanding that that is available for a listener, for
Right.
your target audience as a coach and consultant, to be able to say like, hey, I don't know if you're into the video thing or if you prefer that, but if you are, we are on YouTube. If you prefer that, if you don't, keep listening. We're so
Yeah.
glad that you're here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
It's
and
just
even
like,
like you said, you kind of tease it, right? If for those of you watching on YouTube, you kind of say whatever your point is at that point.
yeah,
That's still kind of drawing their attention to it. Oh, they're on there as well.
yeah,
And I love that point that you bring out, Dustin, because yeah, it is a little bit of a, the algorithm hack, if you will, there, but it is also like, man, how often you're finding people via audio and then getting it shared or what. And now all of a sudden you're a listener, and
yeah.
maybe even 10 episodes in before you even realize they're on YouTube, or vice versa, right?
Vice versa. I was gonna say it could be generational. Like I know
Yeah.
for my I have a teenage son, and the stuff that he consumes is all YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And every now and then he'll be like, "Oh, they have an audio podcast as well. Oh, that
Yeah.
makes it even more convenient for me. I don't have to sit there and stare at my screen. I can go for a run and
Right.
listen to it or whatever." And
Yep.
so it's both ways, and I think it's generational, but it's the
Sure.
gateway either way. It's the
Yeah.
gateway from audio to video, and we're going back to the point here. If we're building that authority,
Mm-hmm.
authority is built upon multiple platforms,
Yeah.
both
Man,
physical and
good.
digital.
That's
And
good.
if authority is built on multiple platforms, why not, kill two birds with one stone here?
100%. And that's really what we teach here across the board at 1898. That's what we want to help you do, is go, how can you create once and use it in multiple ways? And this is just a huge magnifying glass on this reality, right? Of just record the podcast, make sure that it's video, and then you have both angles to take, and you can be in both places with utilizing one thing. And that's what's huge about this. And that's why podcasting to me is super, super important for pretty much, I would say, any business, but for coaches and consultants especially, to get in front of your ideal client and have those conversations and have those teachings of your frameworks and your different ideas. That's going to be a game changer for you. And so if we haven't brought that point up of why this is so important yet, then you need to go back and listen, because we just broke it down for you real nicely. Like, so, Dustin, with that being said, I know that one of the big things that probably comes up in people's mind is like, oh, this is awesome, I would love to do that. How do I do that? Right. So like, what does that even look like? And I know we're going to talk through some common objections or questions here a little bit I another tease. We're just teasing everything today is what we're doing. But I want to walk us through just a 3-step podcast launch framework, right? If you're going, hey, I hear you guys, I feel like this is my time, I need to do this. Obviously, there's 1,000 different ways you can launch a podcast, but let us give you just a 3-step framework that you can implement right now, that you could have this podcast launched this week. And we're recording on a Friday, and that you could still have it launched this week. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So anyway, let's hit step 1 real quick. Dustin, step 1 of this framework is define your coaching conversation. And really is define your message. What is it that in all of the things that you do, in all of the things that you're about, what is that message that you continue to teach. Maybe there is one problem that you solve for a client over and over and over again, right? That could be your podcast theme that you begin to say, okay, here's what we do. So an example of that would be like if you always help coaches, with their confidence, right? I help coaches make they're confident, and I teach them, and I help them do that. Well, then that becomes your podcast, kind of where you're headed. And I'm going to give the good example here because Dustin, you're on here with me. But Dustin, you have a podcast that is called.
Oh, you want me to say it? Sorry.
Yes. Yes.
Sorry. It's right now. I've always struggled with this title. Maybe you guys can. Maybe your listeners can help me. But it's been for the last 70 episodes.
Yep.
It's been called Creativity Made Easy.
Creativity Made Easy. And Dustin, what do you help your clients do?
I help them with their creativity and make it easier for them.
Oh, wow, that's pretty amazing. It's funny how those align a little bit, right? But no, for example, Dustin, you come alongside creative professionals, and you kind of help their processes and what they do, and you give them frameworks, you give them teachings, you give them all these things to help make sure that they're creating to their highest level, right? Yeah. So you go, man, I do help the creative process become a little bit easier. And that is one big main point that you handle for each and every client that you work with, myself included. When I'm out here doing a video production company and I'm going, I don't know how to do all this, you go, hey, let me walk alongside of you. We'll get your processes in place. We'll make things a little easier for you so that you can create more and create better things, right?
You're selling me on my title now. Now I kind of like it.
Bro, it's good. I'm telling you. I've always told you I like the title.
I know.
With that, the first thing you need to do is you need to just sit down and you need to go, okay, what do I help people do a lot? What is my coaching angle? What is my message? What is the things that I do? And let's begin to push that message out in a podcast form. To give the example of what we do, obviously our podcast here is called Coaching with Content. And what we help our clients do is to see that their message is important, and they have a plethora of ways that they can coach through their content. Back to the top of building authority and using audio and video and in line. Like we're going to help you do all that because we believe that you can coach through your content. So the title of our podcast becomes that. So as you're thinking about it, you go, what are those things? What are those conversations that I'm having in my field or in my niche, if you want to use that term? And how can I align that with the content that I am creating, and begin to refine your message and begin to just put that together in a way of, this is where I'm headed, kind of in a large, banner of what we're going to talk about in this conversation. So step one, Dustin, I know you've wrestled with your title a little bit sometimes on who you are and what you do, but like, how does that sit with you as far as refining that message and getting that title and description and different things in place?
Yeah, I mean, that's the simple framework that we used when we were trying to name this podcast, and you and I were kind of brainstorming different ideas. And I was like, well, what is it that you're trying to help coaches do? I'm trying to help them understand that their content can actually coach people, and it doesn't have to always be in a one-on-one live or Zoom call situation, right? That their content can actually do some of the coaching for them. And I'm like, oh, so they're coaching with content, and boom, there we go. Right. For me, I always feel like I don't want to cheapen the creative process. That's why I've struggled with the term easy, but that's where my struggle comes in. But then I let your audience define it, man. And that's honestly what we did. Like for me, I'm like, I don't know. And Darren's like, it's speaking to me. I'm like, if I'm your target audience, it's speaking to me. Yeah. And I'm Darren's target audience because I'm a coaching consultant. And so when we're sitting down thinking about, I'm like, hey, what speaks to me is coaching with content. Like, number one, it's got that alliteration, and it's 3 words. Usually 3 words is a good magic number for a podcast. It's 1 word or 3 words. Don't do 2. Most popular podcast out there, Smartless, we were just talking about earlier. 1 word. Coaching with content, 3 words. Creativity Made Easy, 3 words. So there's something there. Again, going back to the 3.
Way to put our podcast right up there with
Smartless, yeah. I like that, people just don't know about it yet. That's the problem, but we're gonna get there.
We're getting there, one episode at a time, as they say. So yeah, so spend some time really thinking about that angle of your messaging and who you are and what you do. And that's going to be a great foundation for, and wrestle with it. You know, Dustin, I wrestled with coaching with content. You're still wrestling with the title of yours, but like wrestle with it, kind of work it out, have conversations with clients.
It's either gonna get you to dig your heels in deeper, which becomes stronger authority.
Yeah.
Or it's going to get you to get closer to it. So either way, it's better.
Yep. 100%.
Did we finish the 3-part framework? I want to make sure we hit that.
No, we're just on step 1.
Okay. Sorry. I want to make sure we hit it in the time that we have left. I'll stop interrupting.
Yes. We gotta, we'll keep it moving. So step 2. So if step 1 is define that coaching conversation or your messaging there, step 2, let's just talk about like a minimal viable setup that you could do. A lot of people get hung up on the setup. They go, holy crap, I'm starting a podcast. That sounds so heavy. And Dustin is showing you exactly what you need right now. If you're listening to this on audio podcast, he's holding up a phone.
Yeah, I'll tap it.
There you go. There you go. So yes, the first thing that you need is the phone that's probably in your pocket right now. It's amazing what you can do with this thing. And you can even make it a video podcast with your phone. It's crazy. It has video capabilities. It's amazing.
It's one of the best cameras on the market today, and everybody's walking around with it in their pocket.
It's absolutely amazing. You get a little tripod, you set it up, you have a great conversation right to your phone, and your podcast is done, right? And that's so one thing that you need to kind of get over in this is and Dustin is now showing us a tripod.
Yeah,
I got crazy looking tripod.
I got this little portable, and it looks like a nightstick, like you're going to beat somebody.
Dude, you could hurt somebody with that.
This can be a selfie stick, or it can be a tripod. So this thing pops out here, like so. Boom! Look, there's that right there. You can selfie stick it. You can turn it in either direction. My kids use this more than me because they found out it could also be a selfie stick. But you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, man.
It telescopes way up. I'm trying to get the bottom to open up here. Again, I said I wasn't going to interrupt us, and then I did. But boom, look at that. Now we got a tripod.
Dude.
And you can just set that up right here. I'm trying to get it in the camera shot. You can just set that up right here. Put your camera on there, or put your phone on there. And now you're boom. Now you're ready. Like boom. Here we go. Ready for a podcast.
See? That's it. The equipment
conversation, like $20 on Amazon.
Yeah. The equipment conversation is crazy because of the phones that we have in our pocket. So
and you can literally put this in your book bag and go do it anywhere.
Yeah. You'd be outside. Another thing, if we're talking gear, one thing that we've recently picked up, Dustin, that we
these are great.
Used, these are the Hollyland Lark 2s or something like that. But these are tiny little microphones. Look at these things, man.
Oh, so they're so amazing.
These things are tiny. If you're not watching on YouTube, you should go right now. If I was doing this right, I would have a like cut to sound. Look how good this sounds, but I don't have that. So, but these like little magnet guys go right on your shirt, right? Super simple and easy. Boom, set up, ready to go. You pair that with your phone, you're not going to have any audio. It comes with these little things go right on the bottom of your phone. You don't even guys, so simple and so easy to start a podcast right now today. Boom.
Put that on the bottom of your phone like that.
So good. So good. It also works for cameras if you have a DSLR or something like that you're working with. Works with that as well.
Show them how you clip it to your hat real quick because you can.
The hat. That's a
hat hack. See, if I put it on my shirt like this, you can kind of start to see it a little bit.
Yeah, I like this.
Look at that. You can't even see it, and the microphone's there.
Yeah. Unless you go, what is that thing on his? But that kind of looks cool, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, that's
good. I was just gonna do this so that you can cut to it if you want to, but this is me talking into.
Look at this guy.
My iPhone with the Hollyland right here.
Sounds good.
You can hear how good the audio is, but I'm looking over here. There's Darren at my camera. Right. But then here's me talking to you. I could just podcast just like this all day long.
All day.
End of segment.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. And so, guys, when it comes to the gear, grab your phone, grab one of these microphones. We will, I'm going to have to remember this now. We will link.
Yep. Link in the show notes, man. Everybody loves a good link.
Show notes. That's a good thing to do. But yeah, we can then, once your podcast is done, you can use free software. It's called Spotify for podcasting. If you search that, you can host this thing for free. You have to do a couple of link things, but it'll go on Apple Music or Apple Podcasts. It will go on Google Play. It will do all of the things for you
everywhere for you
with simple setup, and it's free. You just go in there and you upload the thing, you make it happen. Cool hack about Spotify for podcasting is you can upload the video file as well. So when you're on Spotify, you can actually watch the video as well.
Yep.
Kind of a cool little hack there.
That's a cool hack, yeah.
Think, oh man, who's the big podcaster that's on Spotify? His name went right out my brain. Joe Rogan. You can watch all his stuff on there. So yeah, guys, super simple format, super simple content or gear pieces that you can do. So yeah, let's define this framework. We'll keep it moving for you today. 3-step. Let's go with step 1, define that messaging or your coaching conversation. Step 2 is the minimum viable setup. I can't say that today. Viable setup, minimal viable setup, super simple gear that we just broke down for you, link in the show notes. And then the third is, let's just talk through what your first 5 episodes could be, right? Let's give you the first 5 episodes so there's no excuses. You could literally go and turn your camera on right now and probably make all of these happen. So the first episode, you could simply start with your story and your why. Episode 1, your story, your why, right? Make sure you're taking an angle of helping the listener, how I help you. Don't just talk me. We've talked about that in other episodes. You can go back and watch, but make sure that you're talking about why you coach, why you do what you do, what got you into it, and how you help those folks, your clients, those that you're working with. So that could be episode 1. Episode 2, your biggest mistake you see clients make, right? You could talk about that probably all day. I could literally look at Dustin right now and say, hey, Dustin, talk about that for 10 minutes. And you could probably just off the top of your head, go. Easy. Right?
Yeah.
So then episode 3, you could go with a signature framework or a method that you've created. Dustin, we hear you talk a lot about the do versus do framework, DO versus DUE framework. That is kind of your big time framework that you do, right? So that could be episode 3. You just break that down. If you're a coach or consultant, I know you have a framework that you could talk about right now. So that's episode 3 for you. Episode 4, you could do a client success story or some kind of testimonial. And then your 5th one could be frequently asked questions or things that come up a lot in conversation, right? FAQs are huge. You could do 1, you could do 5. Obviously, you could do 3, like we've said. 3 is a big thing around here. So you could do 3, but right there, you have 5 episode ideas that you could run with. Episode 1, your story and your why. Episode 2, the biggest mistakes you see clients make. Episode 3, your signature framework. Episode 4, client success story. And episode 5, your FAQs. Dustin, that is 5.
I just wrote down the FAQs thing. I'm like, I need to start doing that quarterly.
Boom. That's killer. Mm-hmm. And you're 100 plus episodes in, and you're even going, that's a great idea. I need to do more of that.
It's like when you're a songwriter and you start to hear song ideas everywhere. When someone says a phrase, you're like, oh, that's a hook. I can use that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm talking to the musicians out here that like us, they understand that. But it's like now you start to go, oh, that's a podcast idea. Yeah. You know what I mean? That'll preach.
That will preach.
That's a certain, it's like, anyway, go ahead.
That will preach. So I'm going to challenge you right now. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I'm going to say right now, you could simply take this 3-step framework and you could go out and you could start and launch your podcast this week. So spend time doing that. Get out there, grab the gear that you need, and just make it happen. Like, just hit record. That's all you got to do. Just hit record. I know that before we started this episode, Dustin, I was a little nervous. I didn't know if I had what it would take to talk and blah, blah, blah. I get all up in my head, but we hit record and we do it anyway.
We do it.
And you got to just make progress. So that is your challenge for this week. Go out and hit record. But Dustin, let's hit a couple of objections in our last few minutes together. Let's hit a couple of objections that we hear often that I'm sure if you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe, ring the trifecta, subscribe, ring the bell.
It's like, subscribe, ring the bell.
Like, subscribe, ring the bell. There it is. Mm-hmm. Anyway, do that on this podcast right now. Common objections. Okay, the first one is I don't have time. I don't have time.
Yeah, you don't. You don't. But you also don't have time to not do it.
Man, it's so true. I know that I struggle with this one, Dustin, because often when you take the time, you take maybe a day a week or a day a month or whatever your batch recording process looks like. Mm-hmm. I know that often I go, it's the first thing to come off the to-do list, right? I even talked to you about that this week. It's the first thing that comes off the to-do list because you go, really? I don't have time for that. Yeah. But if you're building authority, you got to play the long game. You got to look 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, 12 months down the road. And Dustin, you're a big inspiration on that at 100+ episodes going, man, you stay consistent. You've done the thing. And that's what I hope people will take from this today, and even myself included, that you don't have time, but you have to make the time.
You have to make it. And I know people are like, well, you can't just manufacture time out of anywhere. And this is actually, at the time of this podcast recording, the next one that I'm going to hit record on is an episode about this, about making time to work on what you're doing and not just in what you're doing. Yep. And I did a lot of research in this, and people out there are saying, if you consider 15% or even 20% of your time to work on, that it actually has 80% growth impact in your business. Just think about that for a second.
That's huge.
If you spend 15 to 20% of your time working on the business, then it's been proven time and time again. You can look at the metrics, you can Google it and look it up, that will in turn give you an 80% return on your investment.
Wow.
80% return on your investment.
We're happy if we get 10% on our investment.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's and we said this many times in this podcast before, it's a long game.
It's a long game, man.
It's always the long game. So you can't be in this, just like with investing. It's the long game. The short-term things may hit every now and then. You may go viral, but for the most part, this is a long game process. You're investing in the longevity of your career as a coach or consultant.
Yeah, and that's why at 1898 Creative, we want to walk alongside of you and help you do this. Like we've put together a process where you show up once a month. That's all. Yeah. That's all you need. Once a month, and then we will take it from there. So the excuses are limited. If you're going, well, I don't have the budget for that. Okay, well then you are going to have to spend some time on it, but it's an 80% return. You got to do it. You got to step into it. You got to make it happen. Man, I didn't know that stat, Dustin. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. The other objection that we hear a lot, and I know I've even had this myself, is nobody will listen. I always like to joke that my mom's the only one that listens to this podcast. That is a fear, right? That is something that you have to overcome, but your clients are already consuming podcasts. They're already out there, and they will find you. And Dustin, you talk a lot about building a content library. Yeah, and so you have to switch your thinking to, oh, I only got 30 views or 5 views or whatever, to I am building a content library that will last even beyond what I'm doing here.
The count I'm looking at is how many videos am I posting? Or how many podcast episodes am I posting? So my goal isn't followers of the podcast. My goal is followers of my business.
Yep.
Right. Yep. The podcast is an avenue to get them there. Yep. I want them to subscribe, and ring the bell. Right. Yeah. But if they don't, and I still gain their business, then that's what I'm after.
Yep. And Dustin, we were talking the other day about you were trying to do something where you were offering some like video trainings and different things for your clients and coming up with a portal for them and all that. Yeah. And I think one thing that we said was, bro, you have 100+ episodes. Like there are some things that you could just simply extract from that, put over here. Now you have the start of this next little phase of your business.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Every
you would
framework that I promote usually goes back to an older episode that I did where I
yeah,
broke down that framework, one of
yeah.
the first 5 that Darren said, right?
Boom.
And now I have a whole page dedicated to that resource on my website.
Yep.
And I go, you want to see how this works? Here's a 20-minute podcast episode where I break it down. I
So good.
literally just did that earlier this week. One of
So good.
my frameworks that I've been meaning to kind of flesh out. I fleshed it out, and I'm like, man, I talked about that back in like episode 54, and I'm on episode 116. I'm like,
Yeah.
easy. I don't need to recreate this.
Yep.
I've got it.
Yep.
And I just put it on there.
And that's another thing when you go, nobody will listen. You can't think about it that way. You have to think about it in what you're building. You're building that content library. Then you can use that library to grow your business in other ways that you're not even thinking about right now that haven't come to light. And so you just have to hit record. You just have to get out there and make it happen. And so, with that objection, we're going to say, don't look at it that way. Look at it of how
I know we're almost out of time too, but I want to say, how many times have you yourself found a show or a podcast or something like that, and you go, man, I'm going to go back and watch this from the beginning. This is so good.
Mm-hmm.
I literally have a hot lead that I'm working right now who is going back and rewatching all of my podcast episodes. He will text me and go, man, I just got to that episode. That was great. I'm like, I don't even remember recording that.
Yeah. I don't even know what it said. But
yeah. You know what I mean? So if you do that with the content that you consume, other people are doing the same thing. Like Darren said, they're already listening. They're already watching stuff. So why not your stuff?
Yeah.
So again, it's the long game. I know it can be frustrating with low view counts and listen counts. And if that's your thing, then go get a marketing person and let them blow it up, and they will. Yeah. But again, this is about the content. This isn't about overnight fame. Yeah,
for sure.
I know we're almost out.
All right. Last one we're going to hit before we wrap it up and let people get back to their everyday life is the last one that we hear a lot is, I'm not a good speaker. I'm not good on camera. I'm uncomfortable in that way. All of those things, right? But the reality is that if you're a coach or consultant, people hire you for who you are anyway. And so you just have to turn the camera on and be yourself.
Yeah.
You can't try to be somebody else. If you're like, oh, Dustin's this way, or Darren's this way, or Joe Rogan's this way, or like you were even saying something earlier about, we were talking off camera about the close of the podcast and how there's some funny ways that you can do that and stay consistent and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, I feel like that fits your personality. Right. And in that conversation, we're going, what is your personality? Who are you like? Just be you. And if you jump onto a call or jump onto a video and you just act like it is on a discovery call or a client call, like just be yourself. And when you hit record on a camera, it's a little bit, I do video, like that's what I do for a living, right? I help a lot of people in that way. I still struggle with it sometimes. Like I told you before we hit record on this, I was like, oh man, what do I got? I don't know is this good? I don't know. But you hit record and do it anyway. And you only get better with reps. Yeah. You only get better with reps.
I know I said earlier that I had some things that I was teasing to talk about authority and about show versus podcast, but we'll save that for another episode.
So I like that.
The ultimate tease.
The ultimate tease. You'll have to keep coming back for more.
You'll have to keep coming back.
Yeah. Dustin, thanks for being here, man.
Of course.
Appreciate you always having these conversations. And thank you for showing up and for being here, for watching or for listening. And if you're a coach or consultant out there right now, I want you to know that your voice matters. You have a message that burns inside of you, and it needs to get out there into the world. So do the hard work of doing that. Do the hard work of creating the content, of coaching with the content, and get it out into the world. Because you got to go out and you got to create your art, because this world needs you. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Coaching with Content podcast. We will see you next time.